Hello, guys. Welcome back to Terrible Takes. As you can see, it's me and Jana. This uh, Holden is away doing basketball stuff, and Lucas is focusing on the 318 Legends, which in what, like 12 days, 11 days now, it's gonna drop. So be on the lookout for that. I think it's a day after that, on Valentine's Day, I think, the 14th. I think is when
Yeah.
we drop.
Yep.
So be sure to check out the socials for that. Check out the Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and TikTok accounts. But first off, Rivals Pizza Company, the sponsor of this week's podcast, like always. Crust second, Christ first, crust second. Located off 165 in Sterlington, Louisiana. Remember, Bible Pizza Company. We thank you, our sponsor. But to jump right into things, NFL, AFC and NFC Championship games occurred. The Chiefs took out the Ravens 17-10, and the 49ers stormed back and beat the Lions 34-31. Big weekend, so we got a 49ers Chiefs rematch of the Super Bowl from 2020, 2 weeks from now. But a little recap of the AFC, some questions we have to answer. Number one, how does this affect Lamar's legacy? What, in arguably the Ravens, like one of their best seasons they've ever had. The path was laid down. All you had to do was take out Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid's walrus looking tail, but they couldn't do it. So how does this affect Lamar? Like what does it look like now moving forward? Like how does this affect him?
Oh man, oh man, oh man. So, you know, I think now in this day and age, people are now starting to, this whole Chiefs thing is getting out of hand. All right. And now you've got people. So, like, I worked out of town this week and I'm listening to the radio and I'm listening to some local station in Arkansas and they're about music. They talk about all this other crap. They somehow managed to bring up the Chiefs game and to talk about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. And now they're starting to defend it. Now they're starting to say, why can't she be supportive of her boyfriend? I get it. You can. You can. And maybe the NFL is intentionally, obviously, they're intentionally showing her to get the ratings up, to get the views up, to make them more money, so on and so forth. But it's annoying as a true football fan, not as somebody who's just watching because of her. Like, oh, you know what? I'm going to actually turn this game on because of Taylor Swift. No, I'm a legit football fan, and I want to watch the game to look at the game. I don't want, after
I
every
know.
play, to be turned to her and be
And
like,
and look,
did y'all know that Taylor Swift is dating Travis Kelce?
And look, I'm okay if she gets 4 seconds of screen time sometimes, but like we can cut to the other Chiefs fans, and I'm glad that she's supportive of her boyfriend, right? That's what you want, you want supportive relationship, healthy relationship, cool. But I don't need, oh, Taylor Swift, Travis Kelsey's girlfriend. I don't need that 50 times a game. I know that. I knew that from the first week when she showed up.
Yep,
Cool. You bring it up once, we drop it. Now we all know, that's okay. Every single game. I guarantee you in the
yep,
Super Bowl it's going to happen. And again,
yep,
it's great for the NFL. It's driving up
yep.
views, driving their money, their sales. The Chiefs are profiting like of this, like no one's business. So W's all around, honestly. But like, I don't need to know that she's Travis's boyfriend
We
or
got that
girlfriend.
already.
We got
Yeah,
that. I
we
understand
we
that.
knew
That's
that.
cool.
Yeah,
If we're gonna see someone celebrate a touchdown, let's cut to Patrick Mahomes Sr. Bro is tailgating with the Ravens fans in the parking lot. He doesn't even want to be in the suite. Bro is smoking a cigar, drinking beers with the Ravens fans.
yep. Okay, I'm sorry for doing that. It just needed to be
Hey,
said
it's okay.
because
We
this
vented a
was
little
he
bit.
was
We
our
got it out. A little therapy
Lamar
session.
Jackson was our saving grace to not have
Lamar,
to worry
save us.
about this anymore.
Lamar, if you can hear us,
But
save us. Why?
man, God, like the table, it was lined out for them to do something this year. It really was. They had a great season. They looked really good. They pounded the 49ers right before the playoffs.
They had the hardest last
Playoffs.
few games in the season, and they
Right.
dominated.
Right. And they get here and they dominate the Texans in the second half. Sure, the first half, it was close, but you would expect that in the playoffs. You expect at least one half to be close. And then the second half, they blew them away. So it's like, okay, the Ravens are back. They're back how they were supposed to be. It was a competitive game in the first half. And now they're running away with it like we expected, right? Second half, blowout, game's over. Now, let's go beat the Chiefs. You're the number one seed. And mind you, they had a bye as well. They were the number one seed. Like, they got the bye. They got the bye. That's what they wanted. They needed Lamar in this situation. He MVP season, right? I mean, that's what people are saying. He looks good. He's throwing the ball well. Their running game is great. And then this game happens. And it's like, bro, I get it. Chiefs are good. They've been good. They are a playoff team. Sure. They've got a great coach. They've got a great quarterback. He's going to end up possibly being one of the greatest of all time. And you're handed this opportunity to finally seize what you probably deserve, and you let it slip. And the whole question, how does this affect Lamar's legacy? It's not a good thing. It doesn't help it. And here's the problem. He's 2-4 in the playoffs, okay, after this past weekend. His only wins in the playoffs are against the Texans, who he just beat, and the Titans in 2021 when they made the playoffs.
Teams aren't really that good.
No.
They weren't even that good.
The Texans are young. They have a rookie quarterback. They have a head coach who's on the up and up. The team as a whole is on the up and up. But you should beat them, in all honesty. With the schedule you had, how you looked, you should have beat them. There's no reason you would have lost that game. Now, I understand upsets happen, but if we're talking about Lamar and what his legacy is looking like, he's looking like a fantastic athlete, a great player who's going to go down as a great player, but not a winner. He can't win. He cannot win big games. As far as his legacy goes, the dude's proven that in big games, outside of the regular season, in big games, he's not a winner. And that's what you want as a quarterback for your franchise. You want your quarterback to win.
So I think we're kind of on the same page. It kind of hurts Lamar's legacy. And then moving on, you know whose legacy doesn't hurt? Mahomes. With that being said, who was the MVP in the Chiefs' victory? Was it the coaching? Was it Mahomes? Was it Travis Kelce? Because he probably had his best game all season. Or was it like a little bit of both?
Okay, so I took this question, and I'm going to be honest, I kind of flipped it. So you'll probably have something about who you think for the Chiefs is the MVP, but I'm gonna kind of do something crazy with this and say that the Ravens were the MVP because for me,
Todd Monken is dumb. If that's what you're saying, if the Ravens absolutely gifted it, yes.
I look for a team who is second in rushing yards on the season. Their starting running back, not Lamar, their starting running back had 3 rushes the whole game.
How do you abandon that game plan, man?
I don't know. It's been working for you all season. It's been working for you all season, and I understand Lamar has been a part of that. He has, but on top of him has also been great running from the running backs themselves as well. Okay, efficiency on third down, they were 3-11.
That's not going to win you games, man.
No, 3 turnovers, 1 interception. Now, 2 of those 2 turnovers were on Lamar, the fumble and the interception. And then Zay Flowers had 1 fumble that there's no need to fumble there. I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to reach out and you're trying to score. And if you just get the tip across and you still got possession, you score. I get it. But if you go down the 1 and you do a Lamar Jackson jump over the middle or whatever you want to call it, the tush push like Jalen Hurts does, you score anyway in 3 seconds after. So there's no reason to reach the ball out. Like I said, I understand in that situation as a player, you probably do it. As a spectator and as somebody who is thinking about it logically in the moment, you go, why? Why would you reach it? Because you can go down, you'll waste a couple of seconds. Okay, but you score on the next play, it essentially doesn't matter. You still have to play defense again and get the ball back. Doesn't matter. But they had so many opportunities in the fourth quarter to score or come away with points, and they didn't. Pacheco, he ran great. I think he had like 70 yards. So it's not like he had a monster game, but he did enough to make them question what they're going to do.
If you get your Pacheco in that 65 plus, 70 plus range,
yeah,
I mean that's the Chiefs' game plan. That means that he's a threat running the ball.
Right. And then on top of that, you've got Patty as your QB. I mean, he's a winner, like we've already said. He's going to go down as one of the great QBs, most likely, as long as nothing traumatic happens to him or whatever. But to me, that's a team thing, like great team effort. To me, the main thing that got them the win is the Ravens' lack of just, I don't know, experience.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call it. It's like, what are you doing?
It kind of goes with the last question that I had. Was, did the Chiefs win deservedly, like they were flat out better, or was it the Ravens' choke job? And I think it's the Ravens' choke job. If I was given the MVP, I think you'd give it to Andy Reid because the coaching was way better than the Ravens coaching staff. As an OC, what are you doing as Todd Monken, just like going and straying away from the game plan that works? What are you, as a defensive coordinator or a defensive player, letting a man run behind you on a 3rd and long? I understand you want to sell out for a run because they want to waste clock, but it's the Chiefs. You saw it against the Browns in 2020 when they had what's his face playing backup and they threw it on a 4th down to Tyreek. You see it with the Chiefs. They're gutsy. They're ballsy. You've got to realize that anything is out there. You can't get beat over the top like that.
You have Patrick Mahomes. Look, I'm going to tell you this right here, right now. In a 4th down, 3rd down situation where they absolutely need a 1st down, it's not like a Lamar Jackson. This dude throws. This is a throwing quarterback. He can make plays with his feet if he needs to. They can run the ball if they need to. Brother, it's like saying who's going to get the shot for the Bulls, Matt, like Jordan, or are you going to give it to Rodman? It's an easy decision. It's going to be in Patrick's hands, and he's going to be the one to throw it. Why? Why would you plan for a run? Why would you not have somebody back there expected? Honestly, I expected a pass to Travis Kelce. Me and my dad were trying to call it right before the play happened. I was like, this is a pass to Travis Kelce. I don't know why they seem to be stacking up short like this. They need to watch for the pass. And it ended up being Valdez Scantling over the top. But still, it doesn't matter. It's Patrick Mahomes. Have you not seen what he can do?
And he's one of the few quarterbacks where it's 3rd and long or 4th and long. And I'm still nervous for the other team because I'm thinking, well, this dude's capable of doing anything. Again, when greatness is there, you got to recognize it. And the dude's a winner. And the dude in the playoffs is insane. His stats alone in the playoffs are MVP caliber numbers. When it's 3rd and long, when it's 4th and long, the game's not over. You should not be celebrating. You should not be celebrating at all because he's capable of doing things that your quarterback can't do.
Yeah.
And so I think it falls on the game plans all around. Whether that's John Harbaugh controlling the entire thing, or if it's Todd Monken and his offensive game plan. Again, 6 carries to your running backs, unacceptable.
Wow.
Switching from AFC to NFC, the Lions 17 points at halftime. You're in the lead. You've got 2 more quarters, man. 30 minutes until history. But you decide to do 2 dumb things within the game that kind of cost you. The 4th down calls by Dan Campbell. 2 crucial 4th down calls where you could have kicked the field goal and gotten some points. But instead, you got a little greedy. Your intrusive thoughts won, and you went for it. And you didn't succeed. Do you agree with Campbell's calls?
Okay. Look, this is what I'm gonna say. I saw a little video on this the other day, actually, the day after the game, and I disagree personally with the calls. You've got the lead going into the second half. Okay. And you're telling me you wouldn't take points, as many points as you can, as often as you can, to get to the Super Bowl against the best team, one of the best rosters in all of NFL. You wouldn't take advantage of the points. I mean, if you make 2, that's 6 points. That's almost a touchdown. That's a touchdown minus a field goal if they missed a field goal. You have to think logically in that situation as a head coach. You're not – I mean, we're talking about winners here. The Lions, they've been good. Says they're not really that big of winners. They in the playoffs, they just don't make it there a whole lot. They've had really bad seasons. I mean, Barry Sanders is like the only thing people talk about. Megatron, okay? But when you think of this game and this situation, I love Dan Campbell. I'll still love him, even after this whole situation. That's way too aggressive. You got to understand who you're playing. You got to understand the situation that you're in. This is for Super Bowl. You're going to the Super Bowl if you win this game. You had the best first half you possibly could have had. You could have asked for, and you blew it because you were too greedy, like you said, too greedy about the situation, and say, we could score a touchdown here, or we should go for it. Okay, you go for it and you get stopped. You still going to kick a field goal, or you're going to go for it again? Take the points while you can, man. And he went 1 for 3 on 4th down. But it's not like the 49ers had a ton more possession. They really didn't. They only had like 5 minutes. They had 5 minutes more, but still more. And everything was saying, you got this game in the bag. They outgained them in every way, rushing and passing. They were both tied 6 for 12 on 3rd down conversions. So it's not like they necessarily were piss poor on 3rd down. It just ultimately comes down to Dan Campbell's decision to be too greedy and not take the points. Now, if I'm playing Madden, I'm going for it on 4th down. So if I'm looking at it from that perspective, I'm like, okay, I'll go for it. But even then, if I'm making the decision, you just got to look at it realistically. The kicker is probably going to make the kick. He's a professional kicker. If he doesn't, you can fire him. But those are 6 points that you just let slip right through your hands because you made a bad decision. And you're going up against one of the best defenses in the league. Like, yeah, you played well in the first half against them, but they turned up in the second half, obviously. So I disagree with that. I disagree with him 100%. It's sad. I'm sad about it.
I am too, man. I disagree. I don't, again, like you said, you got to take the points. I don't know why. And I watched the day after, right? I'm watching Get Up in the morning, getting ready for class. And, they were talking about it. And it's his nature, right? He's been aggressive all season. So I respect him from not moving away and not straying away, right? I mean, he's done it all season. He's done it great, As a fan of the Lions, if you're a fan of the Lions, you got to respect that he was consistent. Consistent is key. He wasn't inconsistent. But in this scenario, I think you got to go a little conservative. Even if you kick the field goal once and you made it, Now you're heading to overtime. Now, would you have won in overtime? Would you have lost? Who knows? Because the 49ers at the end of the game kind of had momentum. But you've got to have points. And his decision, his call, I mean, he was scared. And you could tell on his post game because he mentioned he was like, well, I don't want the game to swing in their favor. I want this so we can have that definite. So because the 49ers are capable of scoring, basically. And that's true. They've got weapons. I mean, we've talked about it. I mean, they're the most complete team on the offensive side the league has. And I'd be worried too. But also, you can't allow 27 points to the opposition. 27.
Yeah.
27 points. And I think 27, I think it was 27 unanswered, right? I think it was what?
Yeah.
It was 34-24 before yeah. That can't happen. That's also unacceptable. But no, I disagree. And like you said, right? If I'm playing Madden, I'm playing NCAA. I mean, it doesn't matter what fourth down. I'm not punting the ball. 4th and 45, I'm running 4 verticals all day. But yeah, no, you've got to take points in this scenario, man. It's Super Bowl on the line, history, great season for the Lions, yeah, but man, you got to take points here.
Yep.
Moving on, a little bit on the player side of things. Brock Purdy, as of this recording, it's been talked about that Cam Newton trying to throw shade at Brock Purdy being the 10th best player on the team. How much of this credit for Brock does he deserve? Does he not deserve the credit? Like, what's going on here? How do we feel about Brock?
So as far as credit goes, I think you have to give him partial credit for this. And I would say that because most for the most part, it's a team thing. And I think we're starting to understand that. With any type of game like this, the team that plays the best, not necessarily one player, 2 players, like Lamar was a big part of their team. I think you would give him more credit for certain wins throughout the season because he is so versatile in the fact that he can throw and run and get involved in both and get touchdowns both ways. The 49ers, even though they have star players, are very diverse in who gets the ball. They're very protective of the ball. And I know Brock Purdy threw 1 interception, but for the most part, he was protective of the ball. He's never been the QB. He's had really good games where he's gone over 300 passing yards and multiple touchdowns, but he's never been the Patrick Mahomes quarterback. He's not that guy. Mm-hmm. He's not the necessarily go crazy in the second half. The players are going to make it happen. It's okay to be that guy. It's okay to be the team guy, the guy who doesn't make terrible decisions or doesn't make too many turnovers. Just let your playmakers make the plays. And we've discussed this. McCaffrey's a beast. Debo's a beast. Kittle's a beast. And Brandon Ayuk's a beast. I mean, I can go on and on about the amount of talent they have. Elijah Mitchell, the backup running back, is good. Like, you can't tell me he couldn't go play somewhere else. Yeah, great O-line. Perhaps one of the best at left tackle in Trent Williams. But it just – look, you can't take credit away from him because he's got good talent around. At the same time, you can't give it all to him because he's the quarterback leading the team. You can't – it's in between. Cam Newton's not even a part of an NFL organization, so who cares about his opinion anyway? I mean, the dude – if he was so good as he talks, he would be on a team right now. He'd be playing for an organization, and he would have never have left in the first place, okay? So Cam Newton can shut his mouth. He's kind of like a Robert Griffin III when it comes to talking too much. But as far as the credit goes to Brock, I mean, I've been impressed throughout the whole season about all the negative talk that's been thrown towards his name and how he consistently shows up still and provides for his team in a way that he doesn't necessarily have to win it, but he puts them in situations to win. And that's all you can ask for in a quarterback. When you've got one of the best rosters on the whole NFL, you don't have to be a crazy stat guy.
And that's the other thing, right? You got to get it to your star players. I mean, as a quarterback, you're the general of the team. You got to make the plays happen. You got to create the plays, whether that's a check down, whether that's a simple slant, a go route. I mean, at the end of the day, you're the guy who's slinging the rock to your playmakers. And again, like you said, it's okay to be that guy. Do I believe if he went to like the Raiders or the Chargers or something that he would be an average quarterback in the league? Probably. But
Yeah.
he's doing what he needs to do in this situation. He's not turning the ball over 24/7. He doesn't have 30 interceptions, 20 interceptions. He's taking care of the ball. And like you said,
Yep.
at the end of the day, he's getting his team down the field to win games. And that's all you can ask for. I mean, we can look at Lamar, right? We compare right here. Lamar, way better than Brock Purdy, athletic wise, stat wise. But at the end of the day, who's going to be the guy who steps up for his team and make plays down the field when it matters and become a winner? Right now, it's
Yep.
Brock. And
Yeah.
I didn't like the Brock Purdy MVP hype. I don't think he deserved it. But you can't take away what he's done so far. And so, yeah, like
Yeah.
you said, I think he deserves credit, but it's also a team game. And so, like, everybody deserves
Look, the thing is, Cam Newton was all about himself when he was in the NFL. Brock Purdy's not. I bet if you asked him right now, hey, bro, who you think the best player on your team is? He wouldn't be one of the first five that pop up in his head because
credit.
he's not that guy. He's a team guy. Cam Newton would be like, probably me. He's not that guy. He's not that guy. And Brock
Yeah.
Purdy's going to the Super Bowl now, so you can, take your comments wherever you want them
Yeah.
and give them to everybody. But this dude's going to the Super Bowl. You're not. You're sitting at home. So,
You brought up about being down earlier for the 49ers. My last question, a little sneak peek preview of the Super Bowl. That's two straight sluggish starts for the 49ers. Is that worrisome? I mean, are you worried the 49ers sluggish starts will hurt them in the Super Bowl?
I mean, if you're a 49ers fan, obviously you look at that and you go, we don't know how to start a game, right? We can finish a game, but we don't know how to start. If they can put both halves together, dude, they're gonna beat the Chiefs bad. I think it's gonna be an ugly Super Bowl. If they put first and second half together, I think it's gonna be bad. Now, if the Chiefs get off to a 14, 17-0 start, it's gonna be a game. It's gonna be a difficult game because the 49ers have this like button that they can press. And I'm not saying you don't want to press it at all. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that
You want to
obviously
press it
they've
as soon
been
as
there.
kickoff happens.
Right.
But
But
but when do you
just
think
based
this
off these
magic
last
runs
few
out?
games,
If it happens again, do you think that their luck runs out? Clock strikes 12.
I just think they've got too much talent. I think it's gotten them to this point. I think they've managed it. Anytime they've been down, their talent has shined and their defense has showed up. Like, even though they were down, they held the teams to no points or barely any points at all and were able to make a comeback. So is it worrisome? Of course, because you would rather be in a really good game or be beating a team after the first half and then hopefully continue that success in the second. But they're still winning. They still made it here.
That's true.
And ultimately, I think both coaches are great. I think the Chiefs have the edge at the quarterback position, but I think outside of that, everything points to 49ers.
Hmm.
I just think they've got too much again. I'll say that again. They've just got too much talent, too much athletic ability, raw talent on the field that if a team is down, it better be the 49ers rather than the Chiefs because I think the 49ers have that they have the capability of making a comeback whereas the Chiefs won't. I think it could get out of hand if the 49ers start off hot. Whereas if the Chiefs start off hot, I still think it could be a ball game. I wouldn't count it out.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, like you said, it is worrisome that they do have the talent. But yeah. But when it comes down to Mahomes, you never know because he's got a little bit of magic in him. So, but yep, concludes our NFL, AFC, and NFC Championship recap. Much more longer Super Bowl preview, I'm going to assume, for next week's episode, gearing up for the Super Bowl. That will be February 11th, 5:30 on one of the major networks. I don't remember. But moving on to everyone's new favorite segment, Around the World. Yeah, we're getting into it now.
woo!
Our first major sport, college basketball. Seeing a lot of upsets, man. Over the last 5 years, ESPN put up a graphic. I've updated it. 2019-20 season, AP top 10 teams on the road, 63-27, 70% win percentage. 2021, 58-23, 62.3%. The next season, 55-20, 73.3%. 58-19 last year, 75.3%. But this year, 25-29, a whopping 46.29% winning. If you're in the top 10, you don't got a single easy game. It's upset city. Is this the best season we've had of college basketball, regular season wise, that you can remember?
I mean, dude, I can't remember being this worried for a top 15 team going into March Madness. Dude, I can't think of a season where it was like, oh, wow, this top 10 team just lost. Oh, wow, this blue blood top 10 team just lost. This every game, every night there's multiple games on.
North Carolina, right on Tuesday. 9-11 Georgia Tech. Who would have thought? My Jayhawks against UCF in West Virginia on the road. Who would have thought? I mean, this is like comparable to the 2007 college football season when everybody was getting upset. This is crazy. If you're in the top 10, you don't even want to be in the top 10 because it means you're going to get upset on the road.
Hey, I mean, just get ready for March Madness brackets because if this continues, bro, done.
These net ratings are so off the charts because everybody keeps beating each other and non-conference skews them. The seedings, Ken Palm, they're going to be dysfunctional. I'd hate to be in that seeding room, to be honest. I mean, it's kind of obvious who your first two seeds probably will be. If the season ended right now, I'm sure your top two seeds are going to be Houston and Purdue. I'm going to be honest. And you probably have like North Carolina at the 4-5, Kansas would be a 2. I mean, those seedings, 1 to 2, your first 4 1s and your first 4 2s. I don't know how you're going to rank some of those because it's upset city, and then they play really well against these ranked teams, and then it's upset city again. And like you said about March Madness brackets, man, it's looking like anybody could win.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, because you're going to look at whatever little team is going up against Kansas, and you're going to be like, well, Kansas lost to blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Why couldn't you give this team a shot? And obviously, most people are still going to pick the person who's the team who's supposed to win. But once it comes down to that, I think we're going to see if it continues this way. Now, what I would be really surprised about is if all the teams who are supposed to win, and we end up getting a top team winning the whole thing. I'd be very impressed because the way this season has gone, man, it's like you got to come to play to every single game because if you don't, you're going to lose on the road, at home, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. And it's looking like any team from the top 25 can win. It's looking like any team from the top 25. If you're not even currently ranked and you go on a run right now and you don't lose, you're looking like you could probably be a top 4 seed or a top 4 seed. I mean, you're looking at the top 10. Any one of those teams can win it all this year. I mean, going into the season, it was like, okay, we got Duke, we got North Carolina, UConn looks good. We've got Purdue. Right now, throw all that out the window. It doesn't even matter anymore. The last one of those podcasts, we wanted to do college basketball, and we had our teams down. Throw that out the window. It doesn't even matter. And like you said, March Madness is named. Hopefully, it continues to get even worse because I love the madness.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got 29 losses already, and you still got the month of February and March to go. It's going to be crazy, man. I don't know what it is, but the teams, if you're at home and you're playing at the game, hey, those home teams are looking like they're going to win almost every single time. But speaking of games, we've got huge matchups this weekend. Starting off at 3 o'clock on ESPN, we've got KU in Houston. Houston is traveling to Lawrence, Kansas, 3 o'clock on ESPN. I will be there. 5 o'clock, 5:30, we've got Duke and North Carolina. Duke is traveling to Chapel Hill. That'll also be on ESPN. I don't know who's going to win that game. Go Tar Heels. You know what? I'm going to root for you, Tar Heels.
Thank you, man.
7:30, we've got Kentucky traveling to Tennessee, or Tennessee traveling to Kentucky. That's another top 10 matchup. That'll be 7:30 on ESPN as well. And then Sunday, we got another top 10 matchup. We've got number 2 Purdue and number 6 Wisconsin. Purdue will be traveling to Madison, I believe. And that'll be 12 o'clock on CBS on Sunday. So those are our huge matchups. A little bit of college basketball. Kind of crazy going on. Best season ever. Who knows? Moving on to our next sport, got the NBA, the
Yep.
National Basketball Association. Trade deadline is next week. So expect to see some trade deadlines on your sports apps that you may use. I mean, currently, as we were recording, Steven Adams for the Grizzlies got traded to the Rockets for Victor Oladipo and some picks. So it's only going to continue. Currently, right now, the Western Conference is separated by 2 games for the 1 seed. We've got the Clippers, the Suns, the Nuggets. Or no, we've got the Clippers, the Suns, the Nuggets, the Timberwolves, the Thunder. Oh, okay, I guess 5 teams. I don't know. It's a lot of teams competing for that number 1 spot. And then in the East, the Celtics can completely control it. But my question to you, obviously, we mentioned how we were both similar on the Celtics versus the Nuggets going to the finals. Is there a dark horse? Do you have a dark horse for this season currently?
So earlier this season, when we discussed this, I had the Pacers, the Indiana Pacers,
Yep.
as a dark horse champion, and they've actually met my expectations as far as not necessarily. I probably would take back dark horse NBA champions, but definitely exceeding expectations for their season and possibly putting themselves in the playoffs. As of right now, they would be. I think they're 5 or 6, something like that. But they are looking pretty good. I think they're 27-21 or something like that, which is good enough to be like fifth. But I'm going to give a different answer now. Obviously, this is hoping that my prediction might be right. Maybe they make a run, maybe not.
You never know.
This team right here has been one that people talk about all the time, and this city would absolutely love a championship if they got to the playoffs. And it's the Knicks. Dude, they're playing
Ooh.
some good ball. They are. They're
Ooh.
9-1 in their last 10 games. 31-17 is their record. I think they sit second or third.
I think they're third.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson is averaging 26.8 points per game, 6.5 assists, and 3 rebounds, shooting 48% from field and 42% from three. And then Julius Randle is, the big dog in the paint, 24 points, 5 assists, and 9 rebounds a game.
Mhm.
And outside of that, they've got good players surrounding them to get it done if they need to. Obviously, they've been beating teams. Like I said, 9-1 in their last 10. That's really good percentage. Um, but I just think it's time for them to get some spotlight. And I think there's been so many years that they just fall short of even making the playoffs, or they make the playoffs and they're just done. I mean, they couldn't really get it done
Yeah.
with Carmelo Anthony when he was there,
Yeah, I believe they lost to
Stoudemire
the
when he was
Sixers last
there.
year.
Yeah. Um, and so I'm going to go with the Knicks. I think they
That's a
are,
pretty good one.
I would say they're exceeding expectations as well. But I definitely wouldn't have seen them third right now.
I was about to say,
Um,
no. When I think of the Knicks, I
so
think 12, 13.
yeah.
That's a good
So
team.
I'll go with the Knicks. I'll go with the Knicks.
Well, my original one was the Thunder, and obviously they're looking pretty good, but I'm going to stay away from the Thunder currently. But if I had to give another dark horse team, also I misspoke. It was the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Timberwolves, and the Thunder, all 2 games, separating them for the 1 seed. So those 4 competing. But my dark horse, I'm going to sound like every NBA analyst, biased media outlet. I'm going to say the Phoenix Suns. They have the
Okay.
number 1 offensive efficiency right now. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. They're sitting at the 6th spot, one above the play-in. They're 28-20, 6 games back. If they're looking kind of good in the last few games, if they can put a
Yeah.
couple pieces together and really get Bradley Beal going, I think that's done for. Really, I mean, well, I say done for. I think they have a chance to compete. I think it'll be really exciting in the West as of right now to see how like the entire playoffs unfold in the West because it looks like anyone can win the West currently. In the East, it kind of looks like the Celtics still. I mean, you mentioned the Knicks, obviously a dark horse. You're not expecting it, but maybe expect them. But it's kind of everyone, like majority, is leaning towards the Celtics winning. The
Yeah.
West,
Yeah.
it's anyone's game. And so my dark horse is going to be the Suns. I think if they can get it together, I think they're going to go far. I think they could reach the semifinals. I think they could reach the Western Conference Finals. if they put it together. Again, it's going to come on the defensive end because offensively, right, you got Booker who could score 50 plus in any game. You got KD, obviously, and then you got Bradley Beal, who's a great player. Just got to get him going. So
Yeah.
my team is going to be the Phoenix Suns.
I mean, you look at a roster and you go, well, this is a top team just because of the people on it. Now, obviously, we've had situations where you had multiple stars on one team. It didn't exactly pan out. And that could happen. It could work.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. I mean, it is, kind of that point in the season where you hope to be playing some good ball and going on little streaks here and there to hopefully get a higher seed and whatnot. But, I mean, they're definitely one of those teams that even though they may not look like a dark horse because of their record and how they started the season, they definitely are. I mean, they're kind of middle of the packish. And so if they can make a push with the players they've got, and they've been in one of those playoffs, teams in the last couple seasons where Booker's having a great year and stuff like that. And then they added KD to the roster and Bradley Beal. And they're definitely that type of team that could make a push if they found like a streak, I guess. If they go streaky, kind of.
Oh, that wraps around the NBA. So around the world again we go to soccer. Woo! Last week we recorded soccer, and then the biggest news of all of soccer happened the next morning. Unfortunately, Jurgen Klopp is deciding to retire from management. That is huge news. One of the best Premier League managers ever, one of the best managers in general ever. He's done wonders at Liverpool. Deciding to retire. Uh, we've got FA Cup next week as well. A little FA Cup action going on. Some big games this weekend. We've got Arsenal versus Liverpool on Sunday. That's number 3 in Arsenal versus number 1 in Liverpool. We've got the Madrid derby. We've got Atletico Madrid versus Real Madrid. And we've got in Serie A, which is the Italian league, we've got Juventus versus Inter Milan, and that's 1 versus 2 over there. That'll be on Sunday as well. We've got transfer deadline day today. Not a lot of transfers this winter transfer window. If you pay attention to that, it seems a little quiet. It has been quiet. U.S. star Gio Reyna has left Dortmund to go to Nottingham Forest on a loan deal. So big ups to Gio Reyna because that means playing time, and that's huge for the U.S. men's national team. So a little update on that. Oh, and AFCON is going on. Can't forget about the African Cup of Nations. The quarterfinal teams, there's 8 quarterfinal teams. These 8 teams were not in the quarterfinals. None of the teams in this year's quarterfinals was in the quarterfinals in 2021. So a complete 8 new different teams. Nigeria is looking like the favorite currently right now to go on and win it. Don't sleep on Guinea because Guinea has got it all. Give me Guinea to win the AFCON. In Guinea, we believe. And then for the Asian Cup, we've got 2 big games. We got South Korea versus Australia in the quarterfinals and Iran versus Japan. 4 dominant powerhouses in Asia going at it. And so, yeah, that's me on the soccer news. John Adam, want to say a couple things?
Yeah. So I'm a Man City fan, and Erling Haaland is back after 2 months of having a foot injury. So it's good to have him back on the pitch. We currently sit 14-4-3 and second in English Premier League. So I just want to give a little shout out in case anybody might be a Man City fan like me. But yeah.
Yeah, and
that's
Chelsea
all I've
got
got.
obliterated to Liverpool 1-4 the other day. So I am in pain as a Chelsea fan because some weeks we look okay and some weeks we just don't look good. And yesterday was a testament to that. We do not look good. So hopefully we can figure something out. But that's all we have for soccer today. And around the world again, to a new sport we have not covered. F1, breaking news if you follow F1 or you love Formula Racing, whatever. Lewis Hamilton has decided to leave Mercedes. He's been at Mercedes since he was 13, or has been in love with Mercedes since he was 13. And he signed a deal with Ferrari, which is crazy. Huge news there. So if you like F1, woo! Around the world again to golf. The last sport we got for today, around the world segment. John Adam, take it away.
Okay, so I don't want to sound like a person just flat out reading a newspaper article, but that's kind of what I have to do to be able to explain kind of what's going on in the world of the PGA Tour. So if you don't keep up with a lot of news around the world of PGA Tour golf, they actually this past Wednesday kind of got a new partnership with Strategic Sports Group, and they also are involved with like the NFL, the NBA, and so on and so forth. It's basically so it sounds like this. It's a new commercial venture under the PGA Tour's control. Uh, about 200 PGA Tour members will have the opportunity to become uh, equity holders in the new company. Under the program, they can benefit from the business's commercial growth. Players will be able to collectively access over $1.5 billion in equity. These grants are going to be vested over time, based off of career accomplishments, recent achievements, future participation and services, and PGA Tour membership status. This is only going to be allowed for people on who actually have their tour card and are on the PGA Tour, and you're considered a PGA Tour player. So I guess if you're an amateur or anything like that, I don't know exactly how it would work, or if you're like Dunlap from last week who was in college, but now you're on the PGA Tour. I don't know how exactly it's going to look, but it definitely is kind of like this new shakeup, where they're kind of putting a lot of the decisions on players, to hopefully in to better the game of golf, but also to better the spectating or watching it on TV, and hopefully being able to grow the game. Because honestly, what's happened over the last 3 or 4 years is it's hurting the game of golf in a negative way with the splitting of players and players taking big money from live and all that type of stuff. And I don't care whose side you're on. Ultimately, it's ruining the game of golf for professional status, for people watching these professionals. If you were a John Rahm fan on the PGA Tour, he's losing fans from the PGA Tour because now they're like, oh, he left. And it's a divide, and there's no need to do that. But what's done is done, and you can't do anything about it. All you can do is go from now and hope it's a better future in the game of golf. So that's just one little but big thing that happened this past week. And that's kind of all I've got on golf. They do have Pebble Beach going on right now. It's one of the prettiest golf courses. I do have a little breaking news. So can we go around the world again?
Go around the world again. Around the world again.
So I actually got this right whenever we started the Around the World segment, and it is breaking news in the NFL. Cliff Kingsbury is now the head coach at the Raiders. So
Wow.
if you are watching this, he got a new head coaching job.
The Raiders.
Yes.
They're not sticking with their interim?
I don't think so. Nope. It's official. Yep.
That's
Cliff Kingsbury.
crazy.
Yeah.
They're not. Who was the other guy? No.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah. It was.
serious?
I got the notification right whenever we started the college basketball.
Wow. Oh wait,
Yep.
no. Their offensive coordinator.
Huh?
Yeah, offensive coordinator.
What's about Cliff Kingsbury then?
Is it probably read former Cardinals head coach going to the Raiders? Offensive coordinator. I was about to say, bro, there is no way they dropped that homeboy that quickly.
Oh my gosh. Do we cut that?
What a nice little blooper. I don't know. That's up to Holden. So yeah, that wraps up our segments for today. That's all we have. Make sure to tune in to the YouTube, the Spotify, the Instagram, the TikTok. We've got it all. We're on every platform that you can think of, even Facebook, believe it or not. But make sure to check out all the socials. And if you're watching on YouTube, hey, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. If you made it this far, drop the pizza emoji. And if you're listening on Spotify, send me a DM that tells me Chelsea is terrible, or something. Send John Adam a funny little message about how North Carolina lost Yellow Jackets. No, don't really do that. That's but anyways, that's all we have for you guys. Again, we can love your support that you guys give us each week. We thank all of you, and God bless and stay safe. Peace.
Thank you, everybody.